Let's see how weird this goes. Game on. Welcome. So you guys have been watching me do this whole virtual thing. It's going to be slightly different as we're doing it here. I'm going to try and incorporate home kids as well as you guys as well as I can. I want to finish out the part I was doing before about behavior points. One, so that you know how to not have me torture you. Me still, good job, or the behavior points or the BroviCast points, so I don't have to torture you as badly. And then also, it's on the quiz on Wednesday. And so we're going to be talking about that here coming up in a moment too, the quiz on Wednesday. Those of you who are at home, if you have questions, you can put them into chat, and then I should be able to see them, and then that makes things a little bit easier. And then, yes, you may, Antoinette, that is fine with me. Then, back to here. Oh, those of you who are at home, until I get my new setup coming up, I can't see all of you at once. I can only see like 7 of you at one time. So I sort of have to jump back and forth on screens. So if I don't see you, don't freak out, which means if you do the adorable thing where you just sit there and raise your hand, I might not see you for a while. So you may have to do like the actual hand raising or the typing of a thing until I get my new setup installed where I'll be able to see all of you at the same time. I'm not there yet. Ethan, are you adorably trying to raise your hand? Or you're not? You're just trying to see if you can creep your hand onto the screen. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't ignoring you for all reasons, that I have a reason to ignore you, which brings me happiness. All right, now we're back to you guys here. All right, there, blah, blah. Oh, those of you who are here at school today and those of you who are at home, it's the same thing tomorrow. Kids in person are here again tomorrow. Kids at home, you're at home tomorrow. And then Wednesday, rumble. Hang on a second. Computer, you're a pain. Why do you hate me? Adorable. There we go. All right. I'll show you guys the schedule in a second. IXL, you guys can still turn in IXLs. Remember, I don't grade it if you don't email me. I have a number of parents who have been contacting me all grumpy saying, hey, my kid did the IXL. Why have you not graded it? To which I reply, hey, your kid can't follow directions. They've not emailed me. Go yell at your child. So just letting you know, if you don't email me, I'm not going to grade it. And if your parents email me, I will tell them to yell at you, because at some point you have to learn this responsibility thing. Same thing for those of you at home. Make sure that you actually email me once you do it. Bad news and good news for you. There's a quiz coming up on Wednesday. For those of you at home, I'm pointing to the wall that says quiz. Use your imagination. Quiz coming up on Wednesday, which is going to be covering all the things we've been doing in class, all the way up through point of view and the B points things. That's your bad news. The other bad news is I'm assigning your next IXL this week, but it's just 1 as opposed to 2. It is a single IXL. The good news is you can test out of the IXL. If you do well on the quiz on Wednesday, you won't have to do that IXL homework. So for some of you, you are going to get a chance to not have to worry about it. For others of you, you're going to have both a quiz and an IXL this week. And I've also, well, we'll get to it in a moment, you can get extra B points if you end up testing out of it and doing the IXL, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday. All right. Cover that. Scheduling wise thing to help you guys out from there. We have schedule coming up with the Wednesday is Red Kids. So those of you who are here today, you'll be here again on Wednesday. Those of you who are home, you'll be home on Wednesday. You are going to have all of your classes on Wednesday. So it's not like these longer ones. You only have 4. You're going to have all 7 of your classes on Wednesday, but they're only going to be for 45 minutes. So it is a shorter amount of time, but it's going to be all of your classes. For those of you at home on Wednesday, it's going to be the same thing. All of your classes just for a shorter amount of time. So you will have my class, just not for as long a period of time. All right. Those of you at home, you get to sort of hang out for a second. This is for the kids who are here in person. For you guys here in person, I talked about this last week, but because you are not here yet, it did not mean as much to you. Now that you've been in our building and you've tried to find science, or you're going to try and find science tomorrow, you may have realized we have these hallways that you saw me talk about last week but didn't mean a lot to you. These are the hallways. All 4 of these are doorways that go to different locations in the school, but they all look identical, which is going to throw you off. So to help you out, if you look above doorway, it is going to tell you what is down that hallway. So when you are trying to find science, find the one that says science on it, and that'll be the main one you're looking for. For those of you who need to go to wellness, look for the one that says wellness, and that's where the gymnasiums are, and that'll help you get to there too. That's the main thing that I can do to try and help you guys out as you get lost and wander around. If you don't want to use them, that's absolutely fine with me. I was just trying to help out for those of you who did. Those of you who are at home, hopefully it came back and helped you out and you were able to find your way around after I showed them to you the first day. If not, well, I tried. Maybe you're just a genius kid that has nothing to worry about. Hall passes, the thing I just gave you, that little yellow piece of paper. For those of you who are a home version, looks like this little thing that we talked about before that hopefully you have not lost already, that little thing. You get to use this all the way through the end of the year. Right now, you should have already written first name and last name on it, because if you lose it, this is how you get it back. If your name is not on it, I don't return it to you. All I can do is laugh at you. If you want to prevent me laughing at you, write first and last name on it. You get to use it a total of 3 times, 1 for each pass that's on there. So again, a total of 3 times, 1 for each little blank line that's going to be there. You can use it in my class, Mrs. Randall's class, and Mrs. Melling's class. Your other classes won't use them as much. You can use it to either go use the restroom if you need to go to Tingletown, or, well, again, normally it's go to your locker, but your locker should be sitting on the ground right next to you right now because it should be your book bag. But again, if you just want to get out of the room and go sit out there on a couch and just get away from the crazy people, I completely respect that. And you can go take like a 5-minute break and just go stare at the wall for a few minutes and then come back. I understand. Or if you want to go to the restroom and then take a mask break and pull your mask down, you can do that too. The drawback is you're in the restroom, so you probably don't want to breathe in there. So it's sort of the fault if you can now take your mask down, but now you don't want to breathe because you're in a bathroom. And it's going to be a tough fit back and forth. That is good all the way until the end of the year. You do get new ones in October when we get to the second 9 weeks. And you'll get new ones again in January, and then new ones again in March. So you'll get ones each 9 weeks throughout the course of the year. Same thing for those kids who are at home. You'll get new ones as we go along too. Assuming no questions, you guys are just staring at me and blinking. Okay, good stuff. You guys don't need that. To here, the useful files thing, same thing we did before. All right. Here on the useful files, that's the one we're going to be using in a second. If you've not used my useful files thing up there, that very first one, that's that schedule that tells you the class periods. Second one down is going to be the map that tells you where all the different classes are and the teachers' names. The third one is the one we're getting ready to take a look at now. And that's the one that's going to be the whole behavior points or BroviCast points. Blaze, bring me a piece. It's like chat, but live. Oh, did you do the thing? No, I accept. Did you number them too? I will accept that. Must have done. Blaze, you are officially in the lead for B points. You have more B points than any other kid. Except you have to write your last name on it. And then I will take it from you. Then put it on my desk and it'll be good to go. And that's the thing we'll get to in a moment. Look at you, Blaze, taking off into the lead. Nicely done. All right. And then so there. The tardy thing on my calendar, the big white thing, and then I will hook you up with points. Go you. Nicely done, child. Tardies. For the most part, this probably isn't going to impact you a lot because you're only here like, what, 2 to 3 days a week, and you're probably not going to be in here very quickly. But essentially, that's the red chair. Make sure your booty's in red chair at the beginning of class, and you're good to go. At the end of class, when you want to leave because the bell's rung and you want to run away from me, fill my heart with love, stare at me, smile. That fills my heart with love, and I'll be more than happy to let you guys take off. Again, you might not think I can tell you're smiling, but already I can tell some of you guys are just glaring at me with all kinds of wonderful, hateful thoughts. Others of you seem to be somewhat amused by me and are smiling. Others of you are just confused and trying to sleep with your eyes open. But usually I have some idea of what's going on because you have fairly expressive eyes. Those of you at home, it doesn't really matter what you do with your eyeballs because I can't really do anything to you, even though it's weird that you're playing Wyatt, are you raising your hand while you play with your foot? Yes, Wyatt. Do you have a question?
If when we come back to school, will we get 2? If it's in October, will we get like 6 of the things?
You will get, as long as you have kept this one, I will give you a second one of a different color. I'll give you a green one, and then you'll have the 3 lines on this one and the 3 lines on that one, and 3 plus 3 equals 6. You are correct. Nicely done.
No, what I mean is like, since I'm all online, when I do come back to school, like,
no, that's a good question. I've not decided. Those of you who are all virtual, I'll have to figure out how that one works. That is for future me to figure out, because I figure if you're not using them, we'll have to figure it out from there, but I can't guarantee anything yet. This is a weird year. Jeriel?
Yes, if you want to take a break from class, you said that for each scene, you get 5 minutes off. So yes, like you just said, we collected 6 of them. And yes, if we want to use them all, would we be able to use them all to get a 30-minute break?
Well, to go along with it, one, I don't time you for how long you're gone. So for the most part, if you go out there, I'm not running a clock, because if you need to be gone for a longer period of time, that's a you and your stomach issue. So no, I'll basically just one pass to get you out of the room. If I have to worry about you being gone for super long, that becomes an office issue. I mean, so if you really need that big of a break from me, I would say just tell me ahead of time that I'm overwhelming you and you need to get away from me. You're like, it's going to be about 10 minutes, Mr. BroviCast, because I cannot take you anymore. I'll be like, all right, that's honest of you. And that'd be probably a better way of doing it. That way you only have to use the one pass. And that way you probably don't get in trouble for skipping. Just let me know ahead of time. All right. For this one, let me run through this to try and help you out as best I can, making sure I'm not missing. Oh, hang on. Chat thing? Who did I miss on chat? There was Wyatt's question. I see it popping up now. All right, back to here. So I started going through most of this with you guys last week. Let me do the speedy EE version now that you're here in person. Those of you who are at home, consider this a small reminder review thing, because this is stuff that's going to be on the quiz, and the more times I beat it into you, the better off you're going to be. Fingers crossed, and hopes and dreams and stuff like that. By the way, Blaze, there's also one right next to you. That's a trash can right there to help you out too. Yeah, next to the recycling bin. That's right. It's more exercise for you. I was just trying to help future you be lazy. It's the least I can do. So far, talking is not seeming much of an issue, because you all just seem to be staring at me and blinking in Morse code. You're just going to be like, help me. But there may come a time where talking does become an issue. And again, that's where I end up charging you points. I don't care if you talk, just don't talk while I'm talking. But in the time, like I'm sitting down over there, as long as we're not like reading a book or something like that, feel free to communicate with other people. Although again, it seems like most of you are just spending your time staring at me, but we'll see. If you are talking to someone else, I charge both you and that other, so there. Lily, oh, let's back up before I pick on Lily completely yet. No, not Lily. You can't volunteer yet. Bad Lily. Max, we're going to pick on you instead. Since you were actually here in class, there's a better chance of this working out. So, Max, one, why are you making me yell at you? Because you've not unmuted yourself yet, Max. There you
I'm
go.
right here. I'm unmuted.
Oh, I see. All right. So, Max, let's say a kid is sitting next to you and talking nonstop, and you don't want to get in trouble because they have not shut their face. What is it you can do to prevent yourself from getting in trouble when other kid is talking to you nonstop?
You put one hand to their face like this, open hand, and then you look at Mr. BroviCast and you smile.
Nicely done, Maxwell. Throw a hand in face and give me puppy dog eyes. That's how I know you're trying to not get in trouble. Don't worry, Lily. I'll come back and pick on you again in a moment. I know you were excited for that one, but that one actually went to Maxwell. You can stop telling me to stop talking, Maxwell. And now you can go back and mute yourself again, Maxwell. Oh, with the whole hand raising thing. For the most part, I don't use hand raising. I mean, you can if you just want the exercise of it. But for the most part, to know who's going to go next, I just look deep into your hearts to know who to call on. And I just sort of like tap into that whole inner side of me to figure out which one of you really wants me to call on you. And then I go with it from there. Along those same lines, when I call on you, there is every chance you're not going to know the answer. I'm fine with that. It is okay to not know the answer, and it is okay to be wrong. What I highly recommend is, even if you don't know the answer, be confident in your wrongness. So if I were to call on, say, Lily, and go, Lily, if you don't want to get in trouble and some kid is talking to you, what should you do? And Lily now knows what the correct answer would be. But let's say Lily goes, curl into a ball and cry. I'd be like, no. But the worst case is you got the answer wrong. It's not like you have to drop out of school forever. I'm okay with you getting it wrong. I will be more angry with you if you don't come at me with confidence like you know what you're talking about. So instead, I want Lily to answer with, curl into a ball and cry. And I'm like, good job, Lily. Completely wrong, but you sounded confident. So anytime that you guys ask me, I'm going to harass you because I'm old and everyone knows boomers don't know what they're talking about. So if you ask me, it's just going to get confusing. So make sure you come at me with a statement. Ooh, as an example, let's practice one right now. Jeriel, ready? What is supposed to be covering your face at all times so that Mr. Broviak would never have to yell at a child? Hair. Close. See, you were confident and completely wrong. At least you had the confidence down correctly. So that's how the baby step works. So the correct answer should be air is what all those kids have covering their face, but it should be something slightly different from there. All right, and then to there, talking to, oh, next up, hang on 1 second. Sorry. So I still have trouble finding a way to get one of these things to stick to my face. So I currently have double-sided sticky tape on my nose that I have smashed this against to try and prevent it from leaving. But the problem is the double-sided sticky tape is making my nose itch horribly. So I have to keep going up underneath there. It looks like I'm picking my nose, but I'm not. It's the edge. I mean, if you want me to imagine me picking my nose that makes you feel better, you can. But it's the edges where the tape is. It's just really tickling the edges, and it's driving me insane. So when you see me do that, it's me trying to move the double-sided sticky tape that's on my face. Other ways to lose B points, generally angering me, finding a thing that's going to make me grumpy in some way. And again, I have no idea what that particular thing might be. Now that we have the new coronavirus thing, it might be things like, I don't know, not wearing a mask, going over another kid, grabbing their mask, pulling it out really far and letting it go so it snaps back into their face. Any number of things that makes me want to strangle you is going to make me end up charging you points. Who knows what horrible thing you guys are going to come up with to make me want to strangle you at some point. I do have, as I mentioned before, my force field, which is over here. And since you guys could not really see it before, again, force field goes from edge to edge to edge, back over here to my bookshelf. Trash can, not in my force field. If you want to play with the trash can, you can. That's completely up to you. I'm not one to judge what you consider a toy. It's just to prevent you guys from going and touching the stuff behind my desk. The main reason being everything back there is given to me by kids, and I don't want to lose or have those things break. So when you come behind my desk, it's going to cause me to attack you in some way. If I'm behind my desk and you come behind here, I'm going to assume you're trying to start a fight with me, and I'm going to drop you in the throat punch right into the trachea, because you can't scream for help, because I live in constant fear of the student revolution of you guys trying to rise up and overthrow me. So I'm going to do my best to try and prevent it. And Kaylee, I don't know if that's yours or Kate's, the black thing on the ground. I think something weird, whatever that might be. It looks like part of a cat head. Is it yours? Okay. I just didn't want you to lose whatever it might have been. All right. So that's force field. Don't go behind my desk. If there's a thing you want to see, just ask me. There's nothing back there that's not already covered in cooties. So if there's a thing you want to see, just ask me, and I'm more than happy to let you see whatever that thing might be. Jeriel, it's apples. They're just blue apples on a red background because it messes with kids' heads, and that brings me happiness. I know it's kind of weird. I have a lot of weird ties. You'll just have to accept them from there. Ooh, the writing on the board back over there behind where Blaze and Kate would be, that's the giant whiteboard. That's an area that my 8th graders will start writing on once they feel brave to come back in. But right now, most of my 8th graders are freaked out being back in the school. When they start writing on there, you guys cannot, just to remind you on that one. Oh, unless you get enough B points. There is the thing where you get enough B points, you do get to write over there, and then you get to flex on the other kids and taunt them. Ooh, those of you kids at home, let's pick on Owen. Hello, home child Owen. So let's go with it. Oh, look at you. Real much faster than Max. Way to flex on that kid. Owen, in my classroom, there are 2 places you can throw things away. Where are the 2 places you can throw things and I won't yell at you?
The recycling bin, the trash can by your desk, and like the trash can that's a bucket by your door.
Oh, that's very specific. Nicely done, Owen. High five. So again, throwing things, you can throw trash, you can throw recycling over there. Don't throw them at other people because then you're calling them trash. I did have a kid earlier say, but what if there's a school shooter and the Alice drill said you're supposed to throw things at them? And my answer is yes, you can call that person trash. If a person comes in here with a gun and is trying to attack us, you are more than welcome to throw things at them and call that person trash. But other than that, if they're not coming at you with a weapon, I'm going to say probably no on the whole calling them trash thing. It's there. All right. In a moment, this is where some of you guys get to start spending your points already. That whole not having class materials thing. That's where I'll be selling some of you this piece of paper because I said I make sure you have it last week when we went over it. And many of you went, blah, 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 old man, you can't control me. You're right, I cannot. But if you don't have it today, then I have to be somewhat mean to you. And that's where I'll get a chance to sell you one. Those of you at home, when you show up on Thursday, you're going to be able to show it to me that way. And then those of you who are all virtual, well, we'll see what I can do with you guys. I might make it an assignment for the virtual kids, or I might just say, you know what, if you're going to fail, that's up to you. I only get to pick on the kids who are here and in person. Those of you who are all virtual, some bit of failure may just be your friend. The class directions is the other way that I'll end up charging you guys points. So if you're in here and I'm like, hey, get out the piece of paper and you're staring at the wall drooling, I'll be mean to you. And missing a homework assignment. For most kids in the past, that has been how people have lost their points, by not doing the homework assignments. This year, I'm sort of treating things a little bit differently. On this one, it's going to be the whole idea where as long as you eventually get it turned in, I'm not charging you as many points, but for the most part, don't worry about losing B points for not doing homework. I'm not freaking out about that one yet. Same thing for those of you guys at home. I'm being nice as far as it comes to missing homework assignments. I figure with Corona and issues, I figured having you guys turn it in right now is good enough. Typically, I try to do a bit more responsibility-wise, but I'm not going to be too mean to you there. Did that. Class materials we covered. Did that. The writing utensils. Did we get to writing utensils with you guys last week at all? You guys have no idea. You're just staring at me for the most part. Writing. Oh, yes. Good job, kids who were here last time, nodding your heads at me, paying attention. I appreciate that one. For those of you who were at home before, ooh, let's do this. Lathe. Thanks for playing my game, Lathe. So, Lathe, if you don't have a writing utensil and you are needing to borrow a writing utensil from me, Lathe, why are you not unmuted, Lathe? Thank you, Lathe. What is it you have to give me, Lathe, so I give you a writing utensil?
Your shoe.
Good job, Lathe. Thank you. Now you're good to go. If you don't have writing utensil, you are always welcome to buy one from me. You can buy a normal one for 3 points. I also have the fancy clicky ones for 5 points. You're welcome to either one of those. Or you can borrow mine, but you have to give me shoe. If you don't want to give me shoe, you can give me a phone or an iPad, something that I know that you will forget and then come back to me for. The shoe is the best one because then if you try to leave, you walk in circles and like run into walls and stuff like that. So because of that, you're going to have to give me a thing, and then I give you my writing utensils. And again, mine are pre-textured, so they don't slide out of your hands. They are Corona-free, but they are not chew mark-free. If you don't like my special writing utensils, bring your own, and then you're good. Blaze?
So, is it okay if we can just like borrow one of those papers for you and then just copy down on our notebook?
Probably, but if you don't have it here today, then it's going to make it a little bit tougher, so we'll have to see in a moment. And then PJ, that's fine, but that's why you had to go print it on your own when you watched the video. So that doesn't really count as an excuse, because it's not like I handed it to you. You had to watch video and then print it. But a good try, PJ. Try and rack up the excuses on that one. So again, borrow it from me. Yes.
Like, if you like have your paper and like you buy one from you, would it be filled out for you?
Yeah, so if you buy one from me, it's blank, and you have to go through there and write all that stuff in there. So yeah, I'm not going to give you a filled out one. I know you thought you could work the system. I like your thinking, Delaney. Way to try and abuse the system, but you're out of luck. Good question. Eventually, yes. We do have certain times where you can, because we'll have like donation drives. And if you donate to a certain donation drive, you'll get B points to go along with it. But just like on a daily basis, no, I don't usually sell them for B points or sell them for money. I mean, I couldn't sell it. Yes, I'll sell them for B points. You can buy 1 B point for 5 B points. That's the deal I can give
Going
you.
on a scam, guys.
Right? I know. It's there. Oh, and then the clicking thing, if you click it, it drives me nuts. Remember, put it out of your hands, throw it behind my desk, so don't do clicky thing. The clicky thing from there. And we're almost there, leaving the room. Again, for those of you who want to take off, you can either use your hall pass or you can use B points, 3 B points, and then you're good to go. And I talked about my clipboard with you guys? Probably not. Clipboard. I talked about clipboards with you guys when you guys were here before, looking at your faces at home as you're all just staring at me. Thank you again, Ellie. So very nice of you. This is my Hello Kitty clipboard. So whenever I use this, it has all of your names on there. So when you have to buy things from me, I'll use my little clicky pen, clicky, write it on there and stuff like that. Those of you at home, this is what it's going to look like to you as I'm charging you points, and you get to see my Hello Kitty. Those of you who are here, you get to see my Hello Kitty again, because it's hard to be grumpy when there's an adorable kitten wearing an outfit like a bumblebee staring back at you to try and help you out in some way. Then, almost done going to new stuff, did that. All right. Good news, bad news for you. As far as gaining points, a lot of the ways in the past to gain points are not really active this year because of how the schedule and everything has worked out. So the good news is, the way that you normally lose points, you're not going to be losing nearly as many points as kids did in the past. The bad news is, you're also not gaining as many points as kids did in the past, because you're only here 3 of the 5 days, and then you're not going to be losing points for really going to your locker or for necessarily having to miss homework, which are the main ways that kids lost points. But a lot of the things I have on here don't apply to you. Like, I'm not doing the tie game right now because you don't see me every day, so the tie game doesn't work. So that one's out. I used to do the box tops, but box tops, they don't really do anymore. They've converted to a new digital system. And with the new digital system, that doesn't really work anymore. We do paper and pop cans. If you want to recycle like a box or a bag of paper, for every 5 pounds, I give you points. Or smashed soda cans like Pepsi, Mountain Dew, smash them, bring them in. I'll give you points for that because it shows that you're, sorry, it's like a piece of, it's killing me. It's like a little string that's dangling in there that's like right in front of my nose. And then from there, the paper and pop you can bring in. Book review, I figure most of you hate reading, so there's not much of a reason for you guys to do a book review. But if you're one of the 3 kids who does not hate reading, then you can do a book review, and it's an easy way to get points. And I'll put that up on Canvas here eventually. You can get up to really 15 points for each book you read and do a book review of. And so it can be a fast way to get points. For those of you who hate reading, probably not going to work for you as much because you hate reading. This was another thing that I did in the past, which was I used to have a lot more homeworks every week. I'm not doing that right now. For those of you who are at home and those of you here, I talked about Wednesday. We have a quiz and an IXL coming up. If you do well on the quiz, you don't have to do the IXL homework because you test out of it. If you do well on the quiz and do the IXL anyway, I give you extra B points. And so that's one of the things we'll get to, where you can earn extra B points depending on how well you do on that IXL. So that'll be a thing that is available to you. But you either get it for a grade if you have to do it. If you don't have to do it, then you can do it for B points. Or if you don't have to do it, you could just choose not to do it, and that's fine. But we'll explain more of that when we get to it. Jerry L. Good question.
What's called? Is it for every 10 cans you get 1 point, or 5 cans? Because it says 10 or 5.
5 pounds for paper, 10 cans for the cans. Good translation, Graham. So yeah. And then Antoinette, well, I just now assigned the IXL today, which is the E.2. Antoinette, if you've already done the E.2, then I guess go you. Don't know what to tell you. I've not actually assigned it yet. So weird question. And student of the week are these posters you see over there. Those are the kids from last year that I'll be taking down. I just want you guys to be able to see them. And so how that works is each week I pick one kid who gets to be chosen, who impressed me in some way from doing something in class, whether it's going to be grades or raising their hand or just being impressive in some way. And then I will put your face over there, and that gets you 5 B points. You also get a locker sign, but we don't have lockers right now, so it doesn't do you guys a whole lot of good. But at least you'll get your giant face over there. Blaze.
So what we have on the scene of the week, we want to say the guidelines be like having the most viewpoints.
Could be sometimes, sure. Then bad things that happen to you. As you lose points, I will get to start torturing you. Your goal is to not go below 5. Once you go below 5 B points, then I get to actively torture you in class. These 3 seats over here, for those of you at home, if you're looking at the screen that has my face on it, I'm going to show you the 3 chairs that are over here next to me that are facing the board. Those are the 3 seats I'm getting ready to be talking about. Those seats are called Struggle Town. When you get down below 5 points, you have to come sit over here next to me. And then every time you make a poor choice, you're right there next to me to try and help correct you. You have until the next day's class period to get back above 10 points. If you don't get above 10 points, I give you a detention. And you're going to have a lunch detention to try and find a way to get those points again. If you come back to class and you still have not found a way to get points, you don't get to come into my room. And I put you out in the hallway, and then you have to zoom into my room being out in the hallway, and you don't get to be in here and all those things. So you don't get to be in my room unless you have B points. Also, this starts giving you a lunch detention once you start losing those B points, where you get pulled out of where your normal seat is at lunch, and there's a different seat that you get to sit at, and there's like a little essay you have to fill and stuff like that. There's other ways to torture you, but essentially once you run out of B points, that's where I get to start being mean to you. The good things about B points is going to be, not that one. That's the Simpson sheet, which I think I touched you guys before. You can write this as the same phrase 50 times. It's what Blaze had just done. Every time you do it and you write 50 lines, it gets you 5 B points. You can do that as many times as you want. I've had kids do that hundreds of times to get hundreds of B points. And so that's up to you. That's the thing you want to do. If you don't want to do the work, that is absolutely fine with me. Good kid things. Here's what you get to aim for as you go up. You are not spending the points. These happen to you automatically. So when you get up to, say, 20 B points, whenever we're doing work in class, you get to sit on top of your desk. That is absolutely fine with me. If you get to 30 points, you get to bring a pillow with you to class. And you can sort of sit underneath your seat, just wiggle your little tushy down into like, it's so comfy, and wiggle your butt down. I'm fine with that. You don't spend the 30. You get to do it every single day that you have at least 30 points. When you get to 40 points, you can like lay on the ground. Whenever we're doing certain activities, you get to lay down there. The main one that kids go for is at 50 points, 5-0, you get to pick your seat in class. And you get to steal another kid's seat. Wherever they are, you get to take that seat from them, and then they go to your old seat. You don't spend the 50. It's just an automatic privilege you get, that you get to choose where you want to be in the room. How long do you stay in that seat? Forever, until the end of the year, or until another kid steals that seat from you. Now, if you want to prevent a kid from stealing your seat, you have to also get to 50 points. Like, let's say that, I don't know, Tamara wants to steal Kalina's seat. And if Kalina wants to prevent that, as soon as she gets to 50 points, then Harris can't take it, and she becomes safe. But then once you get up to 100 points, you get to flex on her, and you get to go and steal the seat. So it usually becomes the battle for those kids trying to prevent someone from stealing their seat. The empty seats you can't go to because those are my spacing seats. But a seat where you see a kid, you are more than welcome to steal their seat. Jeriel?
What's the break game?
Someday when you guys, the other ones that are up there, I'm just not explaining. Someday when you get to those points, I'll be more than happy to explain. Like the 75 points, the 100 points, the 150 points. If you get to that point, ask me, because the same thing is written like over here. So you see the same thing there. So in case you want to come back and look at it, There's another one somewhere like over here. There's like another one. And so they're around my room, or you can download it. So if you ever get to that point total, ask me. I'll be more than happy to explain it to you. The only other big one up there is like at 200 points. That's when you get to write on the board over there. So if you guys ever get to 200 points, you get to go write on the big board that has the big white thing, where you get to taunt the other kids. Yes, Blaze.
So if this is about the awards like those guys. So if you turn in like 5 pounds of Simpson sheets, will you get the points for the paper and Simpson sheets?
No, because it's not recycling, but a good try. Way to try and abuse the system. And that would be a lot of Simpson sheets lines. But it's certainly possible. Jeriel,
Can you choose to serve detention for points?
absolutely. You have to be in single digits, and it involves writing an essay and contacting parents. But I have kids all the time who choose to do it once you get down to single digits. All right. Now, we're going to take a 3-minute break. So for those of you at home, you can stand up. Those of you who are here, if you want to stand up for a second, you may. We're going to pause for 3 minutes. If you want to stand up, move, all that stuff, I completely understand. So for those of you at home, if you need to go tickle, run away, go chase and smack a sister, whatever's going to be happening, that's fine with me. All right. Let's try and figure out what is tickling my nose. Let's see. Let's see how it works. Y'all just I feel the same way. I'm sure you guys are just as excited as I am to be back in the building, going off of all of your super happy expressions that you look so tickled to be here. I feel the same way. It's an interesting between the whole hybrid thing and the whole being here thing. I don't know. Still trying to figure out which way I prefer more. Oh, and those of you who have water and stuff like that, if you need to take drinks in the middle of class, go for it. I have no issues with it whatsoever. If you have to slide mask to the side to take drink, that's fine with me. I also don't care if you eat in class. It doesn't bother me either. My only things when you eat in class is going to be, one, don't share with other kids because it becomes a distraction. And as soon as it becomes a distraction, then I have to get involved. And also don't make a mess. If you come in with a bag of chips and there's chip crumbs all over my floor, I just take away eating from everybody. As far as how do you get it into your face, that's going to be involving you finding a way like a fish, like moving from the side and dropping it in or something like that. Does it have to be healthy food? No, I could care less what you're eating. I'm not going to be judging. Don't bring nuts because we have kids who are allergic. I don't want another kid to die. So don't sit there like a giant thing of like walnuts and being like, y'all going to die. That'd be bad. But as far as like food, don't annoy me. Don't make a mess. And really, why would I care? Emmeline?
About the 50 points where you can choose your own seat. You were sitting in your seat.
You can't steal my seat. Only other students, but a good try. Eventually, someday, when you guys get like kids with like a lot of points, then I'll eventually let you guys try and maybe take that comfy seat. But right now, Mr. Moslin's using it, so you can't really try and steal his seat. But on the days where it's empty or available, sometimes that seat's available to whichever kid has the most. So it's not quite the same as stealing my seat, but it's still a comfy seat. Blaze, that happens to the best of us. So who's leaving now? That was, hang on. Well, have fun, Ethan. I wish you the best of luck. Wyatt, I don't think that sentence makes as much sense as you thought it meant. You cold do a zipper. I'm assuming you mean could. And even if you put you could do a zipper, I'm not, oh, you mean on the face mask thing. Now I'm with you because you just put you could do a zipper. All right. Yes, Blaze.
So you just said that you don't want to keep your dog because of their allergies.
Yes.
But you said a while ago that if somebody tried to get your desk, you give them a throat jab.
Yeah.
That might kill them.
That's very true. But that's a kid attacking me. I don't want to just harmlessly kill a random child who happens to be allergic to nuts. That's not a kid who's part of the student revolution. I'm trying to kill the student revolution, people, not innocent children. Innocent kids are adorable. It's the revolutionaries I have to worry about. All right. Then, yes, like you, Max, you're a revolutionary. Nicely done. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. And then, yes, I see you too, Owen, who's not at the, oh my goodness gracious, children nowadays. All right. And we're back. Those of you who are doing the home version, we're back to this learning thing. You can tell how much excitement we were having here in class when all the kids were just staring at me aggressively. It's such a fun time already. Nicknames. When I was a kid, years ago, during dinosaur times, my mom was horrible at remembering the names of my friends. And she would oftentimes rename my friends and give them completely different ones. I had a friend, Jeff Hastings, and every time that Jeff came over, my mom would call him Bob. And it was really awkward and embarrassing when I would bring him over, and mom was like, oh, you have Bob over. And I'm like, his name's Jeff. She kept calling him Bob. And so eventually we all started calling him Bob also. And that just became Jeff's new name, was just Bob. So apparently that has stuck in my head. And for many of you, I'm going to rename you and give you a new nickname in class. Not all of you, and sometimes it may take a while. The way it works is as I get to know your personality, then I will slowly start to rename you into a different thing. Sometimes it can be just a simple one, like instead of calling Lily Lily, I'd be like, you look more like a Sally to me. And I'll just start calling you Sally instead of Lily. Or it could be something completely different, like wings or zips or some other random thing that pops into my particular head. If you hate the nickname, let me know. I'll stop calling you that particular nickname. But I will probably never give you a new one because you will always be that name in my head. I'm just not using it out loud. If I give you a nickname, it does not mean I like you. So don't get confused and think a nickname means you are someone I enjoy. Along those same lines, if I don't give you a nickname, it does not mean I hate you. Some of my favorite kids never got nicknames. It just means that their parents named them correctly. When will you start getting nicknames? I have no idea. It just sort of depends on how my brain works. And as you start doing things, my brain will sort of reclassify you into a different way. When I look at you and start saying someone else's name, that's how you're probably going to know when I keep expecting you to reply to whatever that other name might be. So we'll go from there. For most of you, do I enjoy you or like you? Sure, it's certainly possible, but I don't want to give away things too much. Even if you have to leave early to go to the dentist, that's fine with me. Or if you distract yourself by spinning around in the chair a whole lot. Part of our drawback right now, wow, Antoinette, do not throw shade at poor Owen. By the way, we have officially started the loss of B points. For those of you who are virtual, picking fights with kids on chat would be a way of losing points, he says, as he reads the chat that's popping up. So making good choices from there. Or if you are to spam chat and make me grumpy along those lines, it'd be the same way. Those of you who are at home, you can still lose points for your choices. Choose wisely. But as far as the nickname thing goes, you also can't really request a nickname. You can't tell me, hey, all my friends call me Bubba. I'm sorry, your friends are weird. And that you're welcome to tell me that, but that does not mean I'm going to call you that. So that'd be different. Yes.
Blaze doesn't really count as a nickname.
I know.
It's my real name, but it's not really a nickname.
I know. You told me on the very first day. You're good to go. That's why I've been using it. It's not my nickname for you. That's just your name. So that's why I didn't really bother with it. Weekly calendar behind young Blaze over yonder. That is the calendar I put up every week. It'll tell you anytime we have homework or quizzes, all information we list over there. For those of you who are at home, it's the same thing that you see on Canvas. When you go to the main page of Canvas, that calendar thing that's on there is the exact same thing. So it's just I have the one on my whiteboard for those of you who paid attention. Starting probably next week or later this week, over here, I'm going to have your grades posted so that you can always see what your grade is in my class. It'll have your B points and it'll have your current grade. There'll be a little piece of paper hanging down from each one of those. You're going to find the one that says period 6, which is over there. For those of you who are at home, so you can see where I'm pointing, it's going to be right over here. Theirs are going to be your grades. They're going to be hanging right over there. You probably can't see them. It's at the bottom of that little flag area. Your grades will be listed on there. They are listed not by your name, but by your student ID number. So whatever your student ID number is, that's how you'll find your grade over there. So calendar there, grades and B points here. And for those of you who have not joined Remind, join Remind, because I'll send out things to try and help you along those lines. If you've not joined Remind, that's fine. I figured I would just send out one more thing to try and tell you. Remind, the class code is BROV, first 4 letters of my last name. I try to send out helpful things to make your life better. Now, Blaze.
This is now popped into my mind. Except every November there's this thing called NaNoWriMo, National Writing Month. Will we by any chance be doing that? And also doing?
Well, it's a very cool thing. I'm not going to stop you from writing one, but I'm not personally doing it. And yes, you can spin in your chair. That's fine with me. It's only mildly distracting, but it's not going to kill me. Jeriel.
Are we going to be like, you know how some classes do like different special events for each holiday?
Yes.
Christmas would do like a Christmas crossword. Or
Yeah.
Sending gifts to one another.
Yeah.
Will we be doing that this year?
No. I know. Well, I sounded excited, didn't I? I mean, for the most part, I decorate for Halloween. I put out candy, and the Halloween gnomes will show up, and the Halloween gnomes put up things. But as far as like things in class-wise, not really. We might read some stories that connect to Halloween, but that's where the closest.
And one more question.
Yeah.
You said that you have no emotion.
I don't.
But then you also say you have to be a student.
I do.
If you're a favorite student, you have to like something. If you like something, you have to have emotion. So if you have emotion, or do you not?
It sounds like you're trying to apply logic, but logic has nothing to do with school. Kids tell me that all the time. You can't try to learn here, Jeriel. This is a school building. This is not a place for brains. Nice. Speaking of kids without brains, see how I did that segue? Those of you who don't have that piece of paper, I'm getting ready to hook you up with one. So either A, get out your piece of paper that looks like ya. Oh, wait, let me say ya, that looks like this, or I will happily give you one. If you're doing it digitally, go ahead and get out digitally ones. If you got nothing, I will come give you one and happily sell it to you. Assuming you're blank staring off into space in your happy spot. Yeah. And then to there, and then to there, and then also blankly staring into your happy place. Yeah. Blankly staring into a happy place. Blankly staring into a happy place. Good job. And then to there, there. Blankly staring into a happy place. And then you. What? Then you have nothing written on there. Though.
How many parts do we? How many do
Yeah, currency points also. And
Oh, I'm doing it.
get to it faster. Because if not, you have to show it to me. Yes, dear.
How many points do you start off?
Solid question. I apologize for not hitting that again. You start off with 15 points. As of now, everyone has 15 points, 1-5, except for a handful of kids who now have 3 less. Hang on. I know, I feel the same way. That kid, and that kid, and those I got to help, and that kid I got to help. And let's see, and that kid I got to help, and that kid I got to help. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in a moment, Blaze, you're gonna have to show me yours so I can see it exists with actual writing on it. Again, those of you who are at home, you are gonna have to show me this filled out come Thursday, or I get to be mean to you also, just that you are aware. Those of you who are here in Life, hopefully you have written name at top of paper and first and last name up there on the off chance you were to lose it. And then for those of you who have not written anything on it yet, I'll be putting it up on the screen behind me to try and help you out here in just a second. For those of you who have been paying attention, you should be good to go. And then to there.
Mr.
Then
Breivik.
Wyatt.
If we're all virtual, how do we get that?
That is a good question, Wyatt. I'm guessing, you know, those directions I kept showing you to go and download, like the ones we did all last week, multiple times. Good job, Wyatt. Yeah, if you go to the daily thing, on each day it says download short story notes. He says sassily to the children who have not been paying attention. Mr. Broviak, I never thought it would come back to haunt me. Oh, isn't that adorable? All right. For those of you who have stuff written down, you get to cheat off of this piece of paper. You get to use it on the quiz. You get to use it on the homeworky things. So you get to look off of it. Those of you who have nothing written down yet, you have made it hard to cheat off of yourself. But hopefully you're going to make it easier for future you to cheat off of yourself. So we're going to find out here in just a moment. And then Blaze, coming at you to attack. Oh, you got lucky earlier, not attacking the child. There's information on there. All right. As an example, let's begin. Again, those of you who need to write a thing down, this is where writing it is. Delaney, yes, Delaney, you can answer the first one. Thank you for volunteering. That was so nice of you, Delaney. I could feel it coming from your heart right there. Delaney, when we get to plot, what would be the best definition of plot? In such emotion. Nicely done, Delaney. What happens in a story? Go you. Same thing for those of you guys at home. It's the what happens in a story. Yay, teamwork on that one. And then we got to, what, Finley? You don't think it's fair that she got to go and you didn't get to go yet. Finley, settle down. It's okay. Finley, what is our best definition of character? Nicely done, Finley. Who is in the story? So on that one, you should have the plot, what happens in the story, and character, who is in the story. Speaking of who has a question? Kate. Kate, it has to be in your heart. You have to send me happy thoughts, and that's how I know to call on you, Kate. But hang on. Well, scream it like internally. Don't scream it out loud. That'd be kind of weird. Hang on. Where are the kids? Thank you for letting me know, Owen. Oh, wait. Never mind. That's tomorrow. Never mind, Owen. That was quite the roller coaster you took me on, Owen. Right there. And then to that kid. All right. Oh, wait. I already picked on that kid. Wait. No, Matt. Antoinette. I've not had a chance to pick on you yet, Antoinette. Thank you for. What's that, Antoinette? You're excited because you stole Kate's ability to answer. Wow. How dare you, Antoinette? Hold on. I have to keep talking before you unmuted yourself, Antoinette. Antoinette. Next, we have setting. What are the two parts of setting, Antoinette?
Where the story takes place and when it takes place.
Nicely done, Antoinette. The when and the where, or the time and the place. When, where, time, place. Part of what you're going to be doing on Wednesday is I'm going to give you part of a short story, and you have to be able to figure out the setting of that particular story. So I'm going to try and help you guys out from that one. Most of the new stuff. Point of view. Kate, I could feel your heart that time. Kate, when we get to point of view, what is our best definition for point of view? Your heart is true, young charter. Nicely done. So how the story is told to us. How the story is being told to us. How can you put up with me? Then there, who other kids do I get to pick on from this one? Zachary, thanks for volunteering to go next. That was very nice of you, Zachary. In first person, Zachary, as we get into our next one, Zachary, you'll make me wait to have to yell at you. You should already be unmuted, Zachary. I'm only going to start getting more angry. No, that's the, there you go. Like you took out the camera. Zachary, on first person, it is not the Nick. You're muted again, Zachary. I need to be able to hear you, Zachary.
Hi.
There you go. At the end of class, not now. I'm teaching, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Zachary, when it comes to first person, it's not the narrator telling the story. Who tells us the story in a first person story, Zachary?
The character.
Good enough for me. I was going to go main character, but that's close enough. All right. Main character with the I, me, and we. Just make sure first and last name is on it, Blaze. And then at the end of class, you can just put it right over there on my desk. And I'm more than happy to give you credit for it. Go you. So I, me, we. What's that, Graham? You want to take the next one? I'm proud of you. And you didn't even have all the notes down yet? That was very brave of you. Way to flex on those other kids, Graham. You put them in their place. All right, Graham. So next up we have third person limited is where the narrator is telling the story instead of the main character. But Graham, here's the question for you. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. On this one, how many characters does the narrator follow in third person limited?
One.
Nicely. And you even sounded confident. Nicely done, Graham. See, I had faith in you. The narrator only gets to follow one character. Narrator follows one character. Nina, were you the one that told me I spelled your name wrong at the beginning of class? How did I spell your name wrong?
It's admired.
So the last, or is it the last name?
No, the first letter.
Oh, is it Mina, not Nina?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought for, all right, that makes more sense. All right. I wondered how you went from your name to Nina, but I was like, I'll just roll with it on that one. So it's Mina. All right, that makes more sense. I'll have to make sure I go back and fix that because I have it definitely wrong on here. Hang on 1 second. Quick timeout as I fix on here. Oh. There we go. Back to here. All right, and then yay, and then yay. Weird. I know that. What? You would never make poor choices. And third person omniscient. Mina, since technically you volunteered by answering my question, so we know that you exist. Third person omniscient. The narrator does not follow one character. How many characters does the narrator follow? Is correct. Nicely done. Main character, or sorry, the narrator follows many characters. Because it's not necessarily every character in the stories. It's not necessarily all. Sometimes it might only be 2 characters. Sometimes it might be several of them. That's why I just put many, just because I try to unconfuse people.
Except the prefix on means all.
It does. But the word means all-knowing. Omniscient is what it's short for, which means the narrator can see everybody. He doesn't necessarily follow everybody, but he can definitely see everybody. Or she, not trying to gender choose our narrator, or he or she can see everybody. All right. Now, I tried going slowly enough for those of you who did not have it copied down yet to have it copied down, because now you get to use that on the next section. Jeriel?
How come they can't use they in third person omniscient? Can't they put like as they walked into the building?
It says they.
It says not. It says don't use it.
When not in dialogue. And that's what we're going to say. You can't, anything that's in quotation marks, like the evil teacher said, I will smack all of you. So anytime it's a dialogue, you can't ignore that, but just the narration will help you out the examples. All right. So to help you out, let's take a look at examples, because that's where learning bits come in. Those of you at home, the same thing we did before, you're going to be showing me these little thummy signs and stuff like that. Those of you who are live and here in person, you're going to do the same thing, but instead of hitting a button on your iPad, you get to use your real hands, whether it be this one. No, it's this one. Yes, Delaney.
How do you do the crying happy?
You do nothing.
This one or this one if you want to, either one. You can look like worms are coming out of your face, or you can do, kids are creative on that one. Pretty much anything you do that's not this, or this is probably going to qualify for that one. I mean, if you're doing like this one, I'll probably figure out it's the same thing, or however special thing you're going to come up with. All right. So here. So I have the same thing. I just have it written down, so I have to turn around for you. Ready? Zach repeated the phrase to himself again as he glanced at the numbers scrawled on a piece of paper clutched in his hand. As long as he kept his cool and didn't look suspicious, he'd be fine. This would be easy. So on this one, the first one, it's, do we have the main character talking to us? No. Oh, you guys are already throwing your hand. All right. Well, they're already answering here. So kids at home, they're already beating you because we have bravery on this one. Kids at home, what's wrong with you kids at home? Why have you not answered me already? What are your major malfunctions? The kids here in school are smarter than you. They're laughing at all of you at home. Laughter.
I forgot all the signs. I'm sorry.
Nicely done. So those of you who said third person, correct. And it should be limited because you are following just one character. So third limited. Nicely done. All right. Kids at home, Stop making me taunt you so much. All right, let's try another one. Young Blaze. I know, it's okay. Don't worry, I'll attack them and drop the hammer of God if needed. Again, as long as they're not talking while I'm in the middle of it. Next up, I was awoken from sleep by the cry of fire. The curtains of my bed were in flames. The whole house was blazing. It was with great difficulty that my wife and myself made our escape from the inferno. I resigned myself from then on to despair. Ooh, all right. You guys see me figuring this? And yeah, and then you guys are cheating off each other. Good job, kids at home. I don't have to mock you quite as much. All right. Correct answer? Ooh, hang on one second. To that one. Let's go with Casopa. Thanks for volunteering, Casopa. Casopa, how did you know this was first person? What was your clue in the story to help you out? Works for me, Casopa, because it says myself. Ooh, along those same lines, Tamara, what other clue besides myself, word and sentence would give it away? Good job. Nice one. So the fact that it says I and myself and mine, those are your clues for first person. Let's go to this one. There we go. Maggie and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day, and Maggie discovered a shell that sang so sweetly she couldn't remember her troubles. And Millie befriended a stranded star whose rays 5 languid fingers were. And Molly was chased by a horrible thing which raced sideways while blowing bubbles. And May came home with a smooth round stone as far as blah, 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 words. And nicely done. Kids at home. Uh-oh. A couple of kids at home are struggling. Struggle bus, population of the kids at home. You should have third person, and does it follow one or many? Maggie is one, and then Millie, and then Molly, and then May. So you should be throwing heart bubbles. Nicely done. And here I thought you guys were just telling me how much you enjoyed my class. All right, so now this next one is going to be closer to what's going to be on the quiz, where I give you a story that I create, then you have to figure out point of view. All right? For those of you who paid attention last, don't you cheat already? Stop being smart. This is school. So for those of you, sorry, it's been a long day. For those of you who paid attention last week, you should already know the answer to the first couple of these because we covered them then. But if you've not figured it out yet, some kids, even when I talk, pay no attention to me whatsoever. I'm pretty sure 3 kids in here don't even know who I am. So because of that, we're going to try and do a quick rewind to try and help them out. All right. There we go. Ready? Those of you at home, ooh, look at some of you guys are already fast. All right, blah, blah. As I walked up the hill, I realized that the air was too quiet. There was no sound from the bunny monster, who was nearly always growling from the base of the old maple tree. I thought I saw a shadow move high up on the slope, but when I looked again, it was gone. Where is that creature? I asked under my breath. All right. And then kids at home, and then, kids at home are struggling with this one. Never mind, Antoinette's dancing. All right, never mind, that's not so much on. Antoinette's like doing like a shoulder dance at me. She thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. Let's hope you're right, Antoinette. That's a wasted dance. All right, I'm looking at kids here with them. Apparently it wasn't that hard at all. All right, yes, it should have been thumbs up. Nicely done. And then again, you got, all right. Ooh, when Jeriel had asked about the dialogue, this is dialogue. I know kids at home, it's hard to see it because of the screen, but you have quotation mark and quotation mark. Anything that is in that, you have to ignore. Ignore anything in quotation marks as part of dialogue. I'm going to try and mess you up by putting stuff into dialogue to see if that throws you off. You have to pay attention to just the narrator. And here the main character is narrating it because you look for the I. But I'm going to see if I can mess you up. Let's see how successful I can get messing you up. Nice. As the scared student walked up the hill, she realized that everything was too quiet. Watching her, the bunny monster tipped his head back and drew breath to growl. But just as the first grrr passed his lips, he heard the crack of a dead branch off to his left. Startled, he looked over, cocking his horned head to one side, and watched the strange man with great interest. As the creepy man saw the student start up the hill, he moved quickly into the shelter of the huge old maple tree. If she saw him now, everything would be ruined. I'll grab her as she walks past, he thought to himself, and smiled a wicked grin. All right. Ooh, and again, ignore everything in quotation marks. All right, let's see if I missed anything. People at home? All right. Apparently you guys know what you're doing. Nicely done. On this one, I thought I could throw you guys off. So third person, and then it's omniscient. Heart bubble. Go you heart bubble people. All right. Maybe you guys are going to do pretty well in the quiz coming up. I have high hopes. A lot of you guys might not have to do the IXL. So on that one, it starts off following the student, and then jumps to the bunny monster, and then jumps to the creepy man, and then goes from there. All right. All right. I'm going to get trickier. Let's go to trickier one. The evil old teacher watched as the girl came up the hill and looked around uneasily. It's almost like she's looking for something, he thought. I wonder what it is. Focusing on the ground, the man noticed a small, furry creature in the weeds, but ignored it. His real prey was walking towards him and had no idea he was even there. This one's a little trickier. Ooh, I see differences in opinion. That makes it, ooh, I see lots of differences. And kids at home, uh-oh, I was successful. We have a split. So between third person on this one, it seems like you guys are split between third person limited and third person omniscient. I was hoping to fool you guys into thinking first person because I did the I wonder what it is, but you guys all ignored that. But I had high hopes. So then it comes down to does it follow one character or many? So he starts off, the evil old teacher watches the girl came down. So who's it following at the very beginning?
The old
Old teacher. It's almost like she's looking for something, he thought. Who's it following there?
same guy, quotation marks.
Nice
So you have
done.
to ignore it.
So it's still following the old guy there. Focusing on the ground, the man noticed a small furry creature. Who's it following there? The old guy again. So who's it following the entire time?
But I didn't know the old teacher was a man.
Red.
It's a he.
As the creepy man. I don't know what to say now, so that's all right. I don't need your excuses. It's all right. We made it.
Yeah, focusing on the ground.
Yeah, how dare you assume a man is a god? Oh, that's right there in the whole thing. And so on that one, creepy old man was following creepy old man the entire time. So on that one, should be third person limited, because creepy old man is what follows the entire time. It's all right. Jeriel?
Also says, what's called focusing on the ground, the man notices a small furry creature in the weeds.
How dare you assume the gender of a man? Oh, wait, no, that's right there, the man. Never mind, you're good to go. Okay.
Well, it said the evil
what?
teacher, and then it said the evil teacher was a man.
That is
so
true.
it could have been an evil old teacher lady.
Sure. Women can't be evil and old. That's ridiculous. No, that's actually true. I'll agree on that one. Mr. Broviak, you haven't seen my math. Oh, hang on now, down tiger. All right, and then to there. All right, let's try another one. So hopefully I don't get yelled at for this one. Ooh. All right. I guarantee I'm going to mess up some of you on this one. All right? All right, I'm excited too. As you sit in the grass and wiggle your evil bunny tail, you watch as the girl walks up the hill whistling. Does she have any idea I'm even here, you wonder? But you dismiss the idea as silly. No one knows about you. That is, until you look up and see the creepy old geezer, meaning old man, standing only a few feet away from you. Ooh. All right, let's see what you guys come up with on this one. And, ooh, I see. Ooh, and people at home, all right, go to the dentist. We'll miss you. And then I see Antoinette raising her hand. Hang on, Antoinette. I'm going to come back to you in a second. The correct answer on this one, is it first person? No, I agree. So then it comes down to the third person, limited or omniscient. But the pronoun being used is you. You.
That's 0%.
You, which means the correct answer is this one. Nicely done, Blaze. You're one of the only kids that got it. So it should be, oh, I saw it. He did have fingers. I apologize. You had warm eyes. So this one is what's called second person. It is not something I've taught to you yet, but just so you are aware of it. Those of you who have notes, I highly recommend write this somewhere on your notes because it will be on the quiz, even though we don't use it. But, and this goes to you guys at home also, you're going to want to write this part. Second person is where it says you. So anytime it says you doing something, that is second person. We won't use it in class, but I will put it on a quiz just to make sure you know what it is that exists. Directions are second person. Like you open the box of cereal, you pour the cereal into a bowl, you eat it and it's delicious, you love it. So those are directions which are second person. We won't read stories in second person because they don't really write stories in second person, but know that it exists. So this is where the none of the above thing comes in. And see, hang on, who's my, oh, that's the kid that left, right? All right, he wants to, there. So now you know it's there. I can now randomly throw it on you on a quiz. And as soon as you see you should know from your notes, I'm trying to trick you and it's second person. All right, unless it's in dialogue. Nice or done, not counting the dialogue. All right, this one is as I roll up. Right. As I walked up the hill, I realized that the atmosphere was just too quiet. There was no sound from the bunny monster who was nearly always growling from the base of the maple tree. What is he waiting for? I wondered suspiciously. He is such an awful little creature. What's our point of view on this one? And then kids there. And I did focus on the he. Hang on, and correct now. I thought I could trick you, but apparently it failed. Antoinette, do you have a question? Go for it, Antoinette. By the way, those of you who said this, nicely done. Hang on, Antoinette. You go ahead and unmute yourself. I tried to throw you guys off by putting the he into the quotation marks, but those of you who paid attention to me, that was me just trying to trick you. Ignore everything in quotation marks. It should be first person except for that part. Antoinette.
I can't see the whole screen. I can only see like some of it.
Correct. Don't look at the one that has my face on it. Keep going until you find the one that looks just at the screen. There's two different ones of me. We'll use the other one. Or not. Never mind.
We do have an announcement that any athlete staying after school for practice, they need to report to the cafeteria with a backpack and mask. Again, any athlete staying after school for practice, you need to report to the cafeteria with a backpack and mask. Once again, first of all, our first day Red students, we're so glad you're here today, and we hope that it was a good first start to your live instruction. What we'll be doing over the next several weeks, or as long as we're on a 50-50 schedule, is we'll be releasing for the buses according to location in the building. So the first group or groups that we will release at this point will be classrooms in the C, D, G,
It's
and
not us. We're the
hallway.
last group because we're farthest from the buses.
At this time, classrooms in the C, D, G, and Thomas hallway are free to dismiss students to the buses and or to the front of the building to be car riders or walk. Thank you.
You guys are welcome to pack up. Wednesday, we will do a quick review of this and then jump into quiz. And then we will have quiz on Wednesday, which is going to cover the class things. Those of you who bought paper from me today, keep it somewhere safe. You are going to need it again on Wednesday. If you don't have it on Wednesday, then that's where I get to charge you points. You put it over there. I'll get you at the end. Your name's on it. You're good to go. So do not lose it by Wednesday, and then you should be good to go. From there, covered that one. Those of you who are standing, as long as you're next to your desk, that's fine. I understand. Normally, I would yell at you for like I was standing up and talking, but you guys have been here for 80 minutes, so I completely understand. So as long as you're standing next to the desk, I'm fine. Those of you at home, we'll see you guys later. That was it for today. I've got no other new information for you. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. All right, so you guys are good. All right, and then we're going to make this one disappear.